Going to bring up a guy that he reminded me tonight, actually. My previous life in media, he reminded me that I emceed an event where he won the 21 Alive Player of the Year award when he was in high school, which made me feel really old, but it was interesting. And so we go way back, known him since he was a high school player. He then went on to be a professional baseball player for 12 years, played for the Tin Caps right at the start of his minor league career after being a Norwell kid, and went on to play for several major league teams. He is recently retired and has come home and is now the new director of PSM baseball here on our team. So we are really excited not only to have him on our team, but to have him here tonight. Please welcome to the stage, Josh VanMeter.
All right, how's everybody doing tonight? It's going to be really hard to follow up you young people that have been up here giving great interviews and just doing a really good job. I'm really honored to be here talking to everybody tonight. Baseball is going to be a key theme in what I talk about. A lot like what Austin was saying earlier, baseball has been, up until the last 6 months, playing baseball has literally been my entire life. When I was 2, 3, 4 years old, when people would ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, my first answer was always, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. That's always what I wanted to do. That's what I dreamed of doing. And obviously, I was fortunate enough to live out that dream. And one of the big things, people ask me, along the way, for many of you, I went right out of high school. I got drafted right out of high school, went into professional baseball. So, I feel like I can kind of relate to the young people in here. It was only 12 years ago, like Tommy was saying, that I was sitting in the seats that you guys are sitting in, getting ready. The only difference was I wasn't getting ready to go off to college. I was getting ready to go off to start my professional baseball career. I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't really scared or really, really nervous. I was from Wells County, from Ossian, went to Norwell, really small town. And 4 days after our state championship baseball game, I flew out to Arizona to start my career on my own for the first time in my entire life, while also trying to compete at the highest level and earn my way up the ladder. For those of you that don't know minor league baseball is not glamorous in any sense. I like to call it, and a lot of you young people are going to go through it, kind of the grind. You're going to go through the grind in your life of trying to get to where you want to go and the goals you want to accomplish. There were many times throughout my career where I would call home. I'd be across the country. My dad, I was blessed with really great parents. My dad would watch every game. He'd let me know how my at-bats went after the game. He'd text me, and I'll never forget, in some of the worst times of my career, I would always call home. And I'd be like, man, I don't know how much longer I can do this. I don't know. I'm really struggling. I just don't know what to do. And he said something to me one time that really stuck with me. And I think it's a good thing for you young people to hear is he said to me, Josh, what would your 10-year-old self think of what you're saying to me? What would the 10-year-old, when you were 10, what would he say to you and how you're feeling right now? And to me, there's been a lot of talk. A lot of you guys are doing really good things in your community. The thing that comes to my mind when it comes to that is the perspective that it gives you. When you feel like you're in that time where you're just really struggling, try to take a step back, and whatever field you're going into, the passion that you have, try to think of a time when you were young and that passion first got that fire in your heart. Just go back to that moment, close your eyes, and find that. That'll help you so much get through the grind that you're going to face in these next, 4 to however long you're going to be in school. I like to tell, I didn't go to college, but I like to think I earned a PhD in baseball. So I was in baseball for 12 years. I know there's a lot of medical fields that can go to school for that long, and there's going to be a lot of challenges along the way. Having a lot of athletes in here, you've got a leg up on your competition because you've been taught the lessons of hard work. You've been taught the lessons of perseverance. You've been taught the lessons of resiliency, all these things that you're going to need as you step into the next part of your life. So really never forget those things that you face throughout your sports career that will directly translate into the next kind of professional career of your life. So as we go through that, I was never, like I said, I was taught the lessons of hard work, perseverance, never give up. It's all the things that, especially in baseball, in a sport where you're going to fail 7 out of 10 times, regardless, you got to have those things. And one of the things that really helped me along that way is developing and mastering a routine for myself. I don't want to shortchange myself. I was always a really good player. I was always a guy that played all the time. There was a point in my career, I was lucky enough to spend 4 years in the big leagues. For about 2 of those, I was a guy that literally never played. I was that guy, and I had never faced this. I'll never forget. I was in Pittsburgh. I just got to the Pirates. I got off to a good start that year. I broke my finger like 6 weeks in, missed 6 weeks, and I came back. And at the end of the day, professional sports is a business. And at that time, we were one of the worst teams in baseball, and we were going to the model of we're going to play our young prospects. I was not a young prospect at that point, and so I went through what I like to call kind of the next phase of my career of learning how to add value to a team without performance on the field. It's something that a lot of people have probably learned in here throughout their life. A lot of people learn it young in their sports career. I was just 27 when I had to learn that lesson. I had to learn the lesson of how to be a really good teammate even when you're not having any success. How to be the first guy there to pick somebody up even though he's getting all the playing time that you want. All those things that go into that are what, really brought the passion for me back to the game. I went through a stretch where, I had a really bad relationship with the game just because of the performance and the opportunity that was being afforded to me. And when I kind of found this next phase of my career, I kind of like to call it the leadership phase. I was always a lead by example guy just because I was really good. I'm going to call it what it is. I was a lead by example because I was always really good. I got to a point in my career, like I was saying in Pittsburgh, where I wanted to stay in the big leagues. I didn't want to go back to the minor leagues. The life was great. It was having a lot of fun, being at the highest level. And I had to think, how am I going to add value to this team by not performing on the field? And like I was getting to, one of those things that saved me was having that routine. I came to the field every day, and I did my routine every day, no matter if my name was in the lineup or whether it wasn't. I tried to get my work in the best I can. Obviously, when you're in that role, you're kind of learning to work around other people. I was not the best player on the team. I was, in fact, one of the last guys on the team. So trying to find my way throughout the day to find time in the cage, find time with the coaches, going out of my way to schedule meetings with people that I was not always comfortable having those conversations. And so my routine always kept me through that. It kind of was that vice that I needed throughout the day to keep my mind busy, to try to get that 1% 1% better every day, to try to earn my way onto the field. Because as we know in sports, a lot of sports is playing well at the right time. Sports, whether you like it or not, sports comes down to performing your best when the right people are watching. And I have conversations with kids all the time with the training that we're doing, that everyone wants to be about, how do I gain confidence? How do I gain confidence? Well, you gain confidence from your preparation. I like to break it down to kids in the simplest form. Take a class that you're not really good in. For me, that was like reading and writing. I was horrible at reading and writing. Austin reminded me a lot of myself because I was good at math and I love sports, but I was not good at reading and writing. And I had to put a lot of time in to my reading and writing classes just to get like a B, right? And so what I'm trying to get to is you're going to have to put a lot of time into whatever you want to be great at. If you want to reach the highest level of your profession, it's going to take a lot of time. And the biggest thing that will get you to spend that time doing it is finding what your why is. Why are you doing what you're doing? For me, I wanted to fulfill that 5-year-old's dream that I had when I was that age. It was my mission that whether it was a day or whether it was 4 years, I was going to work my butt off to try to get to the big leagues. And it was a dream come true. People ask me all the time, what was it like? Honestly, it's almost speechless. It was just I tell this story all the time. Me and my dad used to go to Cubs games every summer growing up. My rookie year, I was with the Reds. I remember we were playing at Wrigley Field on ESPN, Sunday Night Baseball, and I'm sitting there on the tarp on the sideline, and I'm just looking. The sunset was beautiful, and I had an assistant coach come up to me. He's like, "What are you thinking about?" They called me Meat. He's like, what are you thinking about, Meat? And I'm like, dude, this is a dream. This is literally a dream. And so dream big, but just know it's going to take a lot of work, more sacrifice than you can really comprehend. But find that why, and that why will take you all the way through. Never forget that. Never forget that 10-year-old in yourself. And never forget the standard that you hold yourself to. Leadership's a big talk in what we do. I had a chance to, I never played on good teams throughout my career. And then my last year in baseball, I had a chance to sign with the Yankees. And I really just wanted to see what the Yankees was all about, right? Like the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Cubs. You have these teams that are just good, it seems like, all the time. And I really wanted to go and see what was it really like. And that year, they had Aaron, this was last year, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, some of the best players in baseball. And I'll never forget, Aaron Boone called us for a meeting on the first day of spring training. And the feeling that I got is that there is a standard here. You want to create a great culture, you have to hold everyone to that standard. To be a great leader, being a great leader means you get people to get behind you and they're on it with you. The only way you can get people behind you and lead them is to hold everyone to that standard. That's a good lesson that you can impact somebody's life by holding them to that standard. And being a true leader is having that standard, creating that culture, and then holding everyone to that standard. And so it's been a pleasure being here tonight, seeing all the success that the young people are having around here. I just challenge you, it doesn't stop. You're only at the beginning phase of what you ultimately want to accomplish. Don't forget your goals. Write them down, read them often, say them out loud. And man, there's no substitute for hard work. If you want to get to where you want to be, you're going to have to get your feet in the ground, get your boots in the dirt, and get after it, because there's no substitute for it. So I feel like I'm a living testament to that. I was never on prospect lists, never the most talented. I really believe that I got to where I was because I worked harder than a lot of my peers did when I was, especially at your guys' age. And you guys are setting the foundation, you're setting the blocks. Every decision you make to get to that ultimate goal, you're making those decisions every day, and that's what's going to lead you to ultimately accomplishing that goal one day. So I really appreciate you guys having me, and it's been a lot of fun to hear the stories and see all the success tonight. So thank you.